Hello, everyone, and welcome to another XAFer community stand-up. Last month, we talked about a 25.1 roadmap, and then it's actually show a lot of the features that are coming. Well, today we have in our hands the early access preview. So now we can also test it. Now we can also see what's coming and we can start playing with it. And of course, I always say wait for the stable release. There are things that are gonna come up here and there, but I think that is looking really good. So, Jose, let's see what we got.
Okay, Javier, so this afternoon I spent some time trying to make all the demos work. Some of them are still not there because, I mean, this when we talk about the roadmap in the last stand-up, is the roadmap for the whole year, right? So it doesn't mean that all the features are going to be available in the first version. So let's start with the easiest one. I guess we can get it from here actually, which is the one that we were testing right now is the virtual scrolling. So let's start with that one. So let's just give me some seconds. I have that one running already. So for this one, I'm going to put this here on the side and then run it. If I can find it here. Because I want to show the queries actually. So people can see what's going on. See? Yeah, sorry for that. For me, still need to do this to move it to x64 because otherwise I cannot connect to the database. There is no ARM version of SQL Server yet. So 1 second. Great. One of the first changes that you will notice is that the default theme is not the same. And it's not this one either. It's actually Fluent Light and these are the new ones, I guess, Fluent Dark too. So the first thing that I'm going to show is the virtual scrolling. I will close everything so I can clear the console. So basically, virtual scrolling not showing is to not show the page selector for the data, but to load the data when you scroll on the grids, right? So if I go to this navigation node that is called virtual scrolling, you will see that it does some loading at the beginning. There are 300 records, but only like 128 were loaded because it do pagination. So I will clear this. So you will see as I scroll, it will continue doing the queries. See? Okay, one more query, two more queries, and there you go. To be honest, I kind of like this idea. In web applications, I always hated the to have the page selector on the bottom, but this one is kind of nice. So it looks exactly like a Windows application in that sense. So to enable this, you need to basically set the the data access mode to instant feedback. In the documentation, it's not clear when it's going to work, but you can access the underneath control. We were talking about that with Javier a little bit before, that If you want to enable, you can enable this at the grid level or in SAF level. So in this case, if we go to the list view, we have to put it on JTAG's mode instant feedback. If not, you will see the page selector on the bottom. So this one is kind of really good. It's one of my favorites from this release. So let's go back to the list of changes. So this one is one of the ones that I like the most. The second one will be, this is not a big deal, but for some people it is, of course. Let me stop this. X64. So is to basically do the measurement on the columns to see, like, to do the best fit. So let's wait for this to load. So let's go to customers. So in here, you can do something like right click, best fit, and we'll rearrange that. Didn't exist before, at least for web. It did exist for Windows. It's always better for Windows since, I don't know, like 2006, but not for Blazor. So this is kind of a neat option, especially when you have like a lot of columns in your application. Other things that were not working before and they work now is the captions on the navigation items. This has always been available in the model node of navigation, but now whatever you write there, you will see on web too. So for example, here, that I wrote that all the business objects that are not assigned to any navigation item. So you can put tooltips on navigation items and they will show on both Windows and web. That's kind of a easy one. So let's stop this. To do that, to put the tooltip is kind of really easy. We just come here and you go to navigations, and in the node you will have the tooltip. Whatever you write here, it will be available for the web application. So that one is also a small change, but all changes are welcome.
Hey, Oche,
Yes.
can you show the tooltip again?
Yep. The tooltip or the model?
The tooltip. Let's see it in action. Ah, when we start getting old, we need to stand up. My back is killing me. Go
I
ahead.
see you in 7 years, Javier.
All right.
Okay, so let's go. And there you go. That's the tooltip.
All right. Can I share for just a second, Oche?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let me share.
I I don't see the tools from Zoom, so if you can drop me,
I'll do it.
like
Are you seeing my screen?
loading. Yeah.
All right. So I it's curious that again we always implement something and right away DevExpress does it. So, but we see here like we have a custom tooltip and we have a custom property editor that in this case is for a string, but you can see here that we also have it for int. And then we have basically a layout that we have an image, and when you click on the image or hover over the image, there is a DX layout that open, and basically we have a message to show and so on. If it's a text box, we have the same thing, fly out, and so on. So if we run it, I went to the second screen. And I have a few instances of BS running, so I'm glad that at least it's not crashing with Zoom. So let's give it a second. Look, my memory is going up. I need to start closing things, restart the computer at least, give them. But hopefully we can see it in just a second. Mm, Come on. All right, if we go to employee, go to new, and you can see, Oche, right here we have a tooltip on the layout header,
Group.
group header. We also have a tooltip in each property, and of course we put right here any icon, but we can probably in the same attribute mention the icon that we want to display, but the first name of employee and the last name, age, and so on. The good thing is like because we created our own Razor component, we have complete control of this DX flyout, and we can put a link. Let's say that we say, okay, click a link that goes to another detail view, to another list view, that goes to another web page. You can do anything we want here. So I think that is a really neat implementation that goes along the same tooltip attribute feature that is coming in 25.1.
Yeah.
All right, that was it.
So
I just wanted to mention it. Feel free to share again.
yeah, 1 second. Let's see, share and share. Okay, so I hope I'm sharing. Which screen do you see? In a lot of console windows or
The browser,
browser?
the browser.
Good. Okay, so oh well, this one maybe let's move to this one now. So just 1 second. Let me open the right one. So this one is a really, well, not the concurrency control. I will show that a little bit later, but this one, I'll start with this one. So I'm biased towards XPO, and I guess a lot of people is too. And the feature that I like the most about XPO is that you don't need to do migrations. So this is a big deal for me because one of the things that I kind of hated was to do the migrations to add extra properties to entity framework business object. So now is working on parity with XPO. So this means that all the classes that you add to your DB context and all the properties or modifications that you do to your business objects will automatically update the database during the design time, during the development time. So let's start with this one. Let's see, I have a lot of them running here. Let's stop this one. And let's start this one. So, okay, so this one is basically 5 new projects from SAF. The main difference is that I'm using Entity Framework instead of XPO. So in here, you will see that, oh, wrong window. Is this window, which is here. So you can see here that this is a normal application. The main difference is that there is a DB context. And here we have the DB sets for customers, for example. So customers, if we go here, we have two properties, name and last name. So if I run this, I will run the Windows version just to run it faster, but this goes for both for Windows and for Blazor. So let's log in. Okay, so here we have the application running. So there is like it's a normal application. So we only have two properties. In this case, we have name and last name. So let's add another property. And you will see that there is no need to do any type of, well, of migration. So I can just copy any property here and say that this would be address. And that's it. Now it's one-to-one to XPO. So this for me was a deal breaker with Entity Framework. That's why I kind of use it sometimes in with XAF for technical demonstrations, but never like in real applications because I kind of hate the idea of having to update the schema. But now this works like a charm. So let's see. Here you will see the address and we will be able to save data there. There will be no problem with that. So see, now I have the extra column, and to prove that it's working, I can just add a record and do Jose Ojeda, and this will be I'm the citizen of the world. So save, and see, it's working fine. No need to do any triggering. Another thing that is working now for Entity Framework is the clone module. So to make this work, you don't need to do anything. It's basically the same idea of XPO. What you do here is that you set in either in the model or by code that is clonable equals true. So for example, this one here, I can clone and say that this is the cloned one and save. So we have this and this one. See, so it's basically a copy. This is also some feature that I will use a lot, or I do use a lot in XPO. So let's stop there and let's just add one more entity to finally to complete proving this point. So I will add a new entity. This will be entity framework or business object. This will be product. And it will be name and code. I can type. And then just make this virtual. Sometimes with so many assistant and copilot and code rush and intelligence, the studio goes crazy. So, and of course, the only step that you need to do actually here, but this is a normal step for Entity Framework, is to have the entity doesn't mean that you will have it like kind of register. You have to do the DB set. So let's copy this, and this will be product and the plural products. And let's go. Let's run this again. Product. So it's working, and let's see. iPhone 001, save, and there you go. So this is beautiful. I mean, right now I don't feel any difference in this flow between XPO and Entity Framework. So this is for me the most beautiful change on this release. Oh, and I name it totally incorrect. The other change that I want to show is that right now the we have some part of this is before. If you check in these cases for these objects, we're using the base object from XAF, which include most of the functionality that we want. One of the functionality included in this object is the concurrency control. See, here you have the optimistic lock that if you check what is needed, this will add a integer field that is the flag that we use to concurrency control. And also in the DB context, you have this line, use optimistic lock. So with that, we're able to have concurrency control. So in this case, I'm going to run both applications, the web application and the Blazor application, and modify a record in both sides. So you can see that you have the UI to merge the changes or to do whatever you need to do. It only works on Windows Forms. I mean, the concurrency control works in both platforms, but the UI to do merging and things only works on Windows. Okay, so let's open a customer. So let's create a new one. This will be named concurrency customer. And let's save it. And now let's run the Blazor version. Let's wait a little bit for this to load. Let's admin. And let's go to customers. And let's get the concurrency customer and add last name, which will be, I will just add the same value. So this will increase the optimistic lock number. So now if I go to the Windows Forms application and try to add others and save it, it reloaded. Why? I don't know. Demo effect. So let's see. Let's try to do it again. Let's let's see, we have this one. And I will close it. This was the last one that I tested and it worked fine. Demo effect. So, okay, let's open this one and let's do a change here. I'll put here 1. And in the web version, oh, I think I need to do something else. I will put here 2. And here I will put 3. Oh, yeah, I remember. I know what the problem is. So let's save it here. Is this one the one that will show the concurrency? Yes, maybe not. Let's see. Okay, one more try before we move to another one. Okay, let's close everything. Here, customer, concurrency customer, and then here, customer. Let's refresh this. Okay, so both have the same code. So let's do here, let's save, and here, let's modify this and save. And okay, this doesn't want to work right now, but it was working a little bit earlier. This one is neat too. I don't know why it's not. Well, I will do something. When I made it run, I had the interface explicitly showing. So let's do that. Maybe that's the problem. So we need the high optimistic lock. And the field is already implemented. So let's give it a try again. Let's run the Windows application. Of course, it went to the different screen. So let's move it here. Open customers. Let's take this one. And I will run. I cannot believe that this is not working. It was working like 10 minutes ago. But again, demo effect. We should have. Let's close this and this, and let's go to customer. And this is the one that is open. So at the moment, they both should be on the same level. So let's try one more time. So I will add an address here, save it. And with that, this one should not be able to save. And finally, there you go. So there is a conflict and it's asking me what to do. This UI is not available for Blazor, but it's for Windows Forms. So it asks you what you want to do, if you want to keep your changes, apply their changes, or discard all the changes. In this case, I will apply their changes. Okay, so now it looks like the web version. So concurrency control is now working out of the box with Entity Framework. And let's see which other thing we have on the list. So these ones I cannot show them because the template kit for 25 is not available yet. So I guess I will go to one of the changes on the grid that is the one that I'm missing to show, which is now there is a band support for the grid for web. So let's stop the entity framework one. I will close it to make sure I don't open anything else. And let's make this any CPU so I can open the model editor and I will rebuild this. And here I'm going to go to the customer and the list. And here, as you can see, I have two bands. I will recreate this, generate content or reset difference. Maybe it's better. Okay, so it starts like this, right? So you have the columns, you have the bands layout, and by default is off. You turn it on. And after that, you can create bands. So this one will be main. Let's and there's another band. Extra info. And this would be extra info. And then we need to move the columns to each of the bands. So main will be name. No, here. And code. And for the extra info will be max credit, billing address, and orders count. So now we have two bands, one with two properties and one with three properties. So if we put this back to x64 and we run it, we log in as admin. And we go to customers. And of course, it's not showing again for some strange reason. Let's refresh this. No. So let's go back to the model. I don't know why my computer is misbehaving today. Let's rebuild this. Customer list view. Let's see. Oh, we have this one, all of this. I will delete and just leave the bands. Ah, no, wrong. So, and no. So let's see, we have save, compile again. And run. Let's see. It looks like everything took 2 runs or 3 runs today. again, not not showing. So let's see. Why is this not showing? What is the problem? I will do it in another, I'll do it on this one. Band layout, enable. And there's two bands. Caption, main. I think this is related to the to the to the to the names on the bands. So this will be extra info. Okay, so then let's move this. So the main will be total. And in extra will be date. And in main will be customer. So that's it. So let's on this. I think it's not taking the changes. When I change from any CPU to x64, sometimes the model goes crazy. But that's something that is related to the ARM architecture on my CPU. Let's see, orders. And it's not showing. Okay, so I will leave this go for the time being. And those are all the changes that I want to show for version 25. And beside that, I want to show something that I've been working with some people from our office. Like one of the programmers had this problem that he needed to execute async code on a web forms application. This I can run it again because of the CPU architecture, but you can actually download it from my GitHub account. So I will just show the repository here. So you can download this example from here. I will add more information, but basically the idea is sometimes you need to call a lot of web services in a web forms application because believe it or not, the world is full of web forms applications. So so the thing here is that what you need to do is, okay, you need to create a web controller. In this case, let's go here, view code, and we have this async controller with a simple action. So to execute async code, you need to get the web window, and then you get the current request page, which is the page where the request is running. So in here you can have, and this is a ASP.NET Core method. This is not SAT anymore. This from this part on, because see, these methods belong to the page object, and the page object is a web forms object. So from here on, basically, this code is web forms completely. So here we have an async method that will run for 3,000 milliseconds. So this is the magic. You have to get the web window, the current request page, and by current request page, this will get the template, the main the main window. That main window is actually this default ASPX here. And here, the only thing that you need is to do async equals true. So once you add this to the page is able to execute async calls. And what you need to get in your SAF application is to access this page, basically. And this page, since the main page, uh, is this current request page here. After this is pure web forms code. This one, again, I cannot show because web forms doesn't run on IIS Express on ARM64, which is my computer. But you can download this if you're still using web forms. You can run it and take a look. And I think that this seems kind of mysterious, but I want to write an article about this because there's still a lot of web forms applications out there. And also, so far, I think we have someone in the chat. Let's see. In the virtual scrolling demo, you had SQL query shown in the output window. Okay. This, yes, it used to be really simple to do that, but now it's not so obvious anymore. So to show the queries on your output window, what you need to do is I wrote an article about this to not forget about it because I always forget about it, how to do it. And this is kind of a hacky way. I think there is another way now. I wrote this article like 3 years ago, and I found out this way like more than 3 years ago, maybe 4 to 5 years ago. Basically, this comes from when we jumped to Net 5 with Javier. So this article is, I will actually, paste it in the chat. So the idea here is that you need to copy this method. This method, by reflection, takes the XPO provider, the base XPO provider. Everything in XPO that is an SQL connection provider will inherit from this base class. And then you can, by reflection, set this switch to the level that you want of output. So basically, you just need to copy this method in your application and execute it as soon as you can. So to do that, let's see, is in this one. As you can see, in the Blazor application, I went to the program. Then see, I pasted that code where I set the switch to info. And then what I do is at the beginning of the application, I execute that method. That's how I see which queries are being executed on the output window. And well, that's everything for today. If there is any questions, feel free to open the mic and just share it with us, or you can type it in the chat.
Hey, sorry, Jose, I had to step out for a second for another for a call, so I missed like half of it, but I definitely will watch the recording and review.
You miss me failing because the band demo, which I did earlier, didn't work like when we were live. So hold on, I see.
And those are nice features to have. I remember the point of sales that we did a long time ago on Windows. We did use a lot of banded to make the categories in one side, and then you click the category and all the products belong
Yeah.
to that category was filtered down. Then we have a template on the cell, so you have another plus sign that was an image that when you click on that, we send it to the other grid on this side, like making like the impression that you were adding to a car, and then you get the total of all the products that you selected, and then you pay for it, and you're good to go. So those bundle layout definitely nice to have. And I
Yeah.
didn't saw it, but entity framework concurrency and automatic database updates, beautiful. So
To be
good thing.
honest, this automatic database update for me was a huge deal breaker with Entity Framework.
Yeah, I agree.
I deleted the database all the time to add the new fields.
I agree. I
So
agree.
Now it's flavored.
XAF web API coming also with nice things, coming with batch. So looking forward to the release of 25.1. As always, thanks for everyone who show up. Host Jay, I think that we have a question. I know it's just a thank you
I
for
answered
being
already.
here. Yeah. Uh, as always, thanks for everyone who shows up. We do this again once a month. We get together, talk about what is going on in the XAF world, and lately in the AI world, we're doing a lot of AI. Next month, we're doing is getting started with XAF in 2025, but the entity framework version is not our favorite flavor of XAF. Of course, we are still XPO fans, but definitely we need to cover that side of the spectrum. All right.
To give some love to that community, which is not so
Yeah,
big.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching and see you next month.